Tonight, U.S. President Donald Trump announces new tariffs on Canada and much of the world. The politicking before the deadline.
We haven't spoken to Canada today. He's called, and we'll see.
And how much it's going to cost. Where Justin Trudeau popped up and how it's fueling romance rumors. Plus, a pop star's public revelation about a private health battle. And a golden summer.
Summer McIntosh looking for gold medal number 3.
How Summer McIntosh is inspiring fans half a world away, and which swimming showdown awaits.
This is going to be like the Super Bowl, the Stanley Cup of swimming this summer.
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina. Reporting tonight, Marcia McMillan.
Good evening. We begin with breaking news. U.S. President Donald Trump's deadline has passed, and there are no signs of a trade deal with Canada. The White House announcing earlier this evening that Trump has signed an executive order escalating tariffs on some Canadian goods. CTV's Rachel Aiello has been following the developments from Ottawa. Rachel, what does this mean for Canada?
Marcia, U.S. President Donald Trump has made good on his threat to increase tariffs on Canada from 25% to 35%. And now with that deadline come and gone, it means Canadian goods that are not shielded by the Canada-U.S.-Mexico Free Trade Agreement are subject to higher tariffs. It is worth noting, though, that an estimated 90% of products are CUSMA protected, but this also means that the sectoral tariffs, such as those that have been hitting the steel and aluminum sector, remain in effect separately, as it clearly is now. After weeks of intense talks, Canada has been unable to negotiate any reprieve on those yet. The escalation of this trade war comes after Trump said he didn't even talk to Prime Minister Mark Carney today, amid a flurry of other foreign leaders trying to make last-minute deals. But late tonight, in an interview with NBC, Trump indicated he was open to further discussions with Canada, suggesting he was even still trying to get a hold of Carney this evening, though the president made it clear that he wouldn't be making a deal before tomorrow. So Trump has done this through an executive order, citing months-old trade irritants, which kind of really struck me today, Marcia, both talking about the flow of fentanyl at the border and Canada's countermeasures, which came into effect before Carney was in office.
So what have we heard from Ottawa?
Yeah, so at 12:23, 23 minutes after that trade deadline, Prime Minister Mark Carney issued a statement saying that the Canadian government is disappointed in this trade action. He goes on to note that the U.S. average tariff rate on Canadian goods is still one of the lowest, the exception of that, of course, being those sectoral tariffs. And on that, Marcia, he says the Canadian government will act to protect Canadian jobs. Whether that means retaliatory tariffs, we will see. He says he's going to continue to negotiate with the United States and push back as well on that fentanyl claim. So we'll watch to see what unfolds on this front tomorrow. Marcia.
Rachel Aiello, thank you so much. Ontario Premier Doug Ford is calling on the federal government to retaliate with a 50% tariff on U.S. steel and aluminum, saying this earlier today.
Well, I wouldn't roll over, and I've told the Prime Minister, do not roll over, hit that guy back as hard as we possibly can.
CTV's U.S. political analyst Eric Ham says this could all be part of Trump's strategy.
I don't think we should look at this as the end. I think this is only another step in these negotiations. And I do believe there is room for a deal. And I do believe we will see a deal get made. Now, of course, this is Donald Trump. So we don't know if it's going to be in the next hour, the next day, the next week, or the next month. But again, we have seen the president implement these debilitating tariffs only to walk these tariffs back.
Trump also increased tariffs on dozens of countries around the world, ranging from 10% to 41%. CTV's Washington bureau chief Joy Malbit looks at the president's power move and the legal challenges he could still face.
Surrounded by athletes, President Donald Trump flexing his trade muscles in the Oval Office.
There he is. Oh, that's still very strong. He's a strong guy.
He didn't get 90 trade deals in 90 days, as the administration claimed, 6 or 7 maybe. Still, he's feeling good, calling his agreement with the European Union the biggest trade deal in American history. Trump slapped a 15% tariff on South Korean goods, but placed higher tariffs on India and a whopping 41% on Syria. Still no trade deal with China, but feeling generous enough to give Mexico a 90-day reprieve.
We have made a few deals today that are excellent deals for the country. You know, we're taking in literally trillions of dollars for the country. This is making our country very rich and respected again.
But the president's tariffs are facing a serious legal threat. A federal appeals court questioned the legality of Trump's tariff policy. Lawyers argued Trump overstepped his authority using the Emergency Powers Act to impose tariffs without congressional approval.
It is concerning, I think, that one man has so much of claims that he has so much power over the world economy.
Challenging the president is not a fight New York wine importer Victor Schwartz thought he'd ever have, but says he's got no choice.
One of my biggest competitors, very successful company, they are slashing prices by 50% on a third of their portfolio this month just to pay the tariffs. It's crazy. It's pricing all over the place.
A major test of Trump's tariffs and power now in the courts. A decision isn't expected for weeks and will likely end up in the Supreme Court. Marcia.
Joy, thank you. Canada's decision to join France and the UK in recognizing Palestinian statehood continues to create controversy. The U.S. president saying he doesn't agree with it. And as CTV's Abigail Beeman reports, others fear Canada's stance will only make things worse.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canadian aid arrived in Gaza today, posting this video on social media thanking Jordan for its assistance. This Palestinian teacher thanks Canada for its plan to recognize Palestinian statehood. He feels the world is beginning to wake up.
The level of human suffering in Gaza is intolerable, and it's rapidly deteriorating.
The U.S.'s special envoy landed in Jerusalem as the State Department announced sanctions on Palestinian Authority and Palestinian Liberation Organization officials. While early Thursday morning on Truth Social, the president wrote Canada's decision will make it very hard for us to make a trade deal with them, but then said this.
No, I didn't like what they said, but, you know, that's their opinion. I didn't like that. Not a deal breaker.
This is just Trump trying to use yet another tactic to put pressure on Canada. And I'm frankly very proud that the Prime Minister and his government made that decision.
I think the government is putting the cart before the horse here.
The Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs is concerned the government didn't tie its conditions to the release of hostages or the immediate removal of Hamas, worried it will embolden the terrorist group.
Conceivably, we're going to have Canada recognize a Palestinian state where Gaza is still under the control of Hamas and innocent Israelis are still being held hostages in the terror dungeons of Gaza.
CJS says there is increased concern and fear in the Canadian Jewish community in the wake of the government's decision, fear of even more anti-Jewish hate and attacks. Marcia?
Abigail, thank you. Trump sent letters to 17 pharmaceutical companies today demanding they slash the prices of U.S. prescription goods within 60 days. He also signed an executive order this week that ends a tariff loophole allowing low-cost goods to be imported into the U.S. duty-free. CTV's Genevieve Boschman now on what exactly de minimis means and what it means for Canadian small business.
From her home studio in Montreal, Tamara Bavdag designs unique jewelry.
I work with vintage lace. I make mostly statement pieces, mostly earrings.
Works of art, really, that her business, this ilk, ships around the globe, a third to addresses south of the border. Now, the U.S. is scrapping a provision that exempts goods shipped into the U.S., those valued at less than $800 American dollars, from duties or taxes. It's called the de minimis exemption. De minimis, from Latin, meaning lacking significance or importance, so minor as to merit disregard.
Is this part of your vocabulary like 6 months ago?
So the word wasn't until Trump started announcing tariffs.
Duties will be calculated based on the IEEPA tariff rate of the country of origin?
The impact of this move isn't clear to all business owners.
Really appreciate it. This is Tamara.
So we called in an expert, Samuel Roscoe from the University of British Columbia.
Your $100 shipment would be taxed and dutied at the same rate as a $2,000 shipment, right? So you're basically going to be paying whatever rate that is agreed on between Canada and the United States. I wish I could give you some more good news tomorrow, but unfortunately, I think Trump seems to be making it as difficult as possible to do business with U.S. customers at the moment.
I think that what I'm really worried about is this logistics, because I'm sending one package at a time to customers. And if I'm filling out a form every time, or I don't even know where I'm supposed to find this form. I don't know if my packages can get stuck.
I pretty much guarantee you there's going to be delays for shipments into the States as a direct result of this. I hope that the message gets across that we do need to support our local Canadian small and medium-sized businesses, because otherwise you guys are going to really struggle.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
A few answers, but still a lot of questions as to the real-life impact on Canadians. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Canada's softwood lumber industry also taking a hit thanks to significant new U.S. duties which could cost thousands of jobs. CTV's BC Bureau Chief Andrew Johnson with a look at the hard times for softwood.
As the fresh wood piles up at this BC lumber yard, management is mulling cuts of a different sort.
We're taking it here day by day right now. We're just seeing how our customers are reacting to these unfair duties. And likely, it's not going to be good.
Harm Binning says this operation is far from alone, being forced to reassess its future after the U.S. decision to nearly triple anti-dumping duties on Canadian softwood lumber and additional duties expected next week.
35% on lumber going across the line is just ridiculous. There's over 250 small manufacturing family-run companies like us in BC. It's going to kill thousands of jobs.
Potentially raising prices on Canadian product far beyond what their biggest customers are willing to pay.
The wood being sorted and prepped for distribution here in Abbotsford, this is Western red cedar, is destined for countries all over the world, including China, India, and Australia. But most of it, 65%, will be shipped to the U.S.
The U.S. lumber industry is applauding the move to penalize Canadian producers, arguing they engage in predatory pricing and receive unfair government subsidies. Independent processors on this side of the border accuse the Americans of pure greed.
It just seems like a smack in the face again. And it's not just, oh, we may have to slow down for a while and lay some people. It's like, this might be the end of my business.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has indicated solving the softwood conflict is a top priority in trade talks with the U.S., which is offering hope to those in the industry.
This has been going on for decades and decades now. Let's find a way to resolve this.
Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Abbotsford, BC.
Out-of-control wildfires raging in British Columbia have pushed more people out of their communities.
I just left work to come here to grab my son.
Search and rescue came around, told us to evacuate.
Nanaimo has issued a state of emergency and asked residents on the north side of Cameron Lake to leave immediately. And a rapidly growing fire burning south of Lytton is reigniting anxiety in that community, still recovering from the disastrous 2021 wildfires. Emergency crews are on the scene after a small plane with 3 people on board crashed into a tree near Ottawa's airport. Firefighters say the plane struck hydro wires on the way down. 1 man and 1 woman were rescued and taken to hospital in stable condition. The 3rd passenger's condition is unknown. Horrifying moments caught on camera at an amusement park in Saudi Arabia, where a ride broke in half mid-flight and crashed to the ground. Amazingly, no one died, but many people on board were seriously hurt, with nearby hospitals having to declare a state of emergency. The cause of the catastrophe is still unclear. Coming up, a superstar's debilitating diagnosis. What Justin Timberlake revealed to fans. Plus, the celebrity stealing the spotlight from Katy Perry. The family of Jeffrey Epstein's most vocal accuser is speaking out after Donald Trump claimed the sex offender, quote, stole her from Mara Lago.
think we were shocked by it. Especially to use the term stolen, because she's not an object.
Virginia Giuffre survived years of Epstein's abuse and died by suicide earlier this year. Her family says they wonder if Trump was aware of the crimes of Epstein and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. The U.S. president has maintained he had no knowledge of wrongdoing by Epstein. In British Columbia, Universal Ostrich Farms' efforts to stave off a death sentence for hundreds of big birds has high-powered support from the Trump administration. The farm's neighbors are breaking their silence in hopes of stopping the momentum. CTV's Judy Trinh is in Edgewood, BC, where the fight to save the ostriches is dividing the community.
Can you show me how many of you are worried about your health and safety?
All 26 people in the room raise their hands. Wow. These Edgewood residents, beef producers, retired plumbers and paramedics, bus drivers and barbers are no longer staying quiet. They're angry. Universal Ostrich Farm is defying a cull order by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and they fear the fallout.
I mean, it makes me feel like I'm living next to Chernobyl.
69 birds died during an avian flu outbreak last winter. UOF believes the surviving ostriches are healthy. Since January, the owners have been fighting in court to block the death sentences.
The ostrich farm has had the CFIA on the ropes by having protesters, by having court cases, by having appeals.
A cull will jeopardize the farm's contract with a Japanese scientist to use the ostriches for antibody research. But challenging the rules has collateral effects. Some countries are refusing to buy poultry from BC, while other farmers worry their animals will be infected.
Well, we worry about being our prices being knocked down because of the potential of avian flu in cattle.
The influx of strangers who have set up camp to protest are also raising alarms.
Edgewood is not about violence. So when they thought CFIA was coming, they barricaded the side road.
But the owners say their fight isn't just for the birds.
It is for food security, it's for better wage, for getting rid of, changing policy, fixing fractured and flawed systems.
The townspeople aren't convinced. Instead, they're depending on the CFIA to protect them from the ostrich farm.
If it isn't the government's job to regulate and protect these things, then whose job is it?
The culling controversy has dragged on for nearly 8 months. The residents want this matter resolved as soon as possible, but the farm's owners say they are willing to take this matter all the way to the Supreme Court. Judy Trinh, CTV News, Edgewood, BC.
Still ahead, a big catch. The Toronto Blue Jays' newest guardian. Pop star Justin Timberlake has revealed he considered quitting his tour because of debilitating health issues. 44-year-old Timberlake says he's been diagnosed with Lyme disease, which left him in, quote, massive amounts of nerve pain and feeling fatigue or sickness while on stage. The singer-songwriter posted this on social media after wrapping up his Forget Tomorrow world tour. He faced criticism for lackluster performances and a number of postponements during the tour. Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was spotted in the crowd at Katy Perry's concert at the Bell Centre Wednesday night, taking in the pop star's Lifetimes tour. It comes just days after the two were seen having dinner at a posh Montreal restaurant. TMZ posting this video of Trudeau and Perry, who recently split from her husband, Orlando Bloom, sharing a meal before going for a stroll, sparking dating rumors.
Struck him out looking, Shane Bieber.
The Blue Jays have acquired former Cy Young Award winner Shane Bieber from the Cleveland Guardians at the trade deadline. Bieber is recovering from surgery he had in April of last year. He's made 5 rehab starts as he works his way back to the majors. And a colossal rooftop artwork dedicated to the hometown team has popped up in the city. The mysterious muralist behind it aptly calls himself Birdo. Still ahead, Canada's golden girl keeps shining. Summer McIntosh wraps up more hardware in the pool, what swimmers in her hometown have to say about her success. Canadian swimming superstar Summer McIntosh continues to wow fans. She just picked up her third gold medal at the World Aquatic Championships, and the teen is on a quest for even more. CTV's John Vanavalley-Rao caught up with some swimmers who are following in her wake and found out how they are taking in her success.
Summer McIntosh looking for gold medal number 3.
As the swimming sensation made her way to the pool, half a world away in her hometown, these young swimmers gathered to watch.
She's in there, she's ready to race, so hoping for the best. I think she'll do well.
And sure enough, McIntosh didn't disappoint.
Look at McIntosh go.
Winning the 200-meter butterfly and missing the world record by just 0.2 of a second, visibly frustrated by that.
I didn't reach my goal tonight, but happy with the gold, happy with the win, and just gonna keep pushing forward.
McIntosh is looking strong.
Already she's won 3 golds in individual events and has her sights on scooping up 5 at a single World Swimming Championship, a feat that's only ever been pulled off by megastar Michael Phelps.
Crazy. She's like a literal machine. Pretty cool.
Here she comes.
Just last month at the Canadian Swimming Trials in BC, McIntosh set 3 world records. And she's also a 3-time Olympic champion and inspiring the next generation of swimmers.
Her accomplishments are Canadians' accomplishments. Like, it means everything to her and everything to us. She's truly one of a kind, just to see how she just seems to glide on top of the water.
Isn't she amazing? If all goes well, she'll try for that next gold on Saturday, competing in the 800-meter freestyle, a highly anticipated event because she'll go up against Katie Ledecky, the current world record holder.
This is going to be like the Super Bowl, the Stanley Cup of swimming this summer. This event is going to be epic. It's the one that a lot of people are really looking forward to watching.
And if she wins on Saturday, she'll go for that 5th goal on Sunday, competing in the 400-meter individual medley. John Vanavalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
We'll be cheering her on. That's a snapshot of this Thursday. Heather Betts is here tomorrow. For all of us at CTV National News, thank you for watching. Good night.
Canada's #1 newscast. Canada's #1 newscast for excellence in journalism.
We begin tonight with breaking news.
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina, winner of the Canadian Screen Award for Best National Newscast. Watch weeknights at 11.